from zero to a living wiki in one session.
I'm just going to jump straight in here. I'm going to walk through the process of what it's like to build a world from the first time. I'm going to be making this up completely off the top of my head so you can see how it's going to help me go deeper, how it's going to help me build my world from nothing to something, and I'm going to show you what's available in Realmweaver. So just again, want to remind everyone what this is for, what Realmweaver is. Realmweaver is an AI tool to help you structure and build your world. It doesn't write for you. It's not creating AI slop. It's not ChatGPT chat that's going to make you a generic fantasy writing. What it's going to do and what it's trained to do is coach you through the process. It's going to help you get deeper into your characters, deeper in your world, your locations, your artifacts. It can help you create 3-act structure. It's just a tool that's trained really well on the process of writing, creating characters and everything. And it helps, and it's going to help bring it out of you. So that's what Realmweaver is. Right, so we are logged in. I'm just going to start a brand new project here. And I don't know a name, just call it West or Die. Why not? All right, I'm going to make a screenplay, and it's going to be a Western action adventure. Let's go for that. So this is just a process to get kind of your first session. You need just a little extra info for the AI, right? So let's see. This is a story about a cowboy named West who wants to make it to walk. But there has been an alien invasion that is stopping him. I guess this is kind of a sci-fi, Western sci-fi. All right, so I'm just gonna guys, I'm making this up off the top of my head. So we jumped in, we made an account, we made a premise for our story. Now we're just gonna jump in to our first session. So what you can do is select quick build, standard, or deep dive. So when it does this, it's structuring the questions and the flow of kind of how deep you want to go. Standard, it's like you're going to reach the end of like the session by 8 to 12 exchanges. It means like back and forth 8 to 12 times. You can go shorter than that. Like if you get to 4 and you just want to stop, you can stop. It's just the structure of how the coach is going to work with you. You can go beyond 12 also. I'm just going to do quick build. Alrighty. So meet your quill. So let's go ahead and just see what is our quill. Welcome. We're building the foundation of your world. This collision between the Old West and alien invasion that's stopping West from reaching his destination. Can already feel the tension between the frontier dream and the otherworldly obstacle. Let's start with the engine that drives everything. What is the central conflict or tension that shapes how people live in this world? This doesn't have to be just cowboys versus aliens. It could be about what the invasion has done to the very idea of the frontier, or how people survive when their whole way of life gets turned upside down. So like I said, I have no clue, so I'm just going to jump into this. Sometimes it's hard unless you already have like a full idea, but just to get started, once you get over the hump, like maybe 1 or 2 questions, you really start getting into your story even more. I'd say they were already surviving. The frontier was already a hard place. Bandits constantly death everywhere. Hard to survive as is. And to add things on top, and the aliens come. These are not peaceful let's chat. Alien. Please, no talking straight. Speaking. Oh, all right. So we have our premise and our first question. So what it does, it's going to think, it's going to analyze what you've done. So the longer you go, the more it knows about your story and then remembers everything, and then it continues to coach on that. Perfect foundation. The frontier was already brutal, and now it's becoming something even more unforgiving. People who thought they knew how to survive suddenly have to learn all over again with enemies that don't allow any of the old rules. Here's what I'm wondering. How was this alien invasion changed what it means to be tough? The old frontier rewarded certain kinds of strength, quick draw, reading the land, knowing who to trust. What new kinds of survival skills do people need to know? And who's adapting versus who's still fighting the old way? That is a good thought. I'd say the old ways were you band up in groups or a posse. How do you spell posse? Like that? Oh, no, like this. Yes. Say and fend for yourselves. Even most just lived on their own secluded. I'm bad at spelling. What do you call those? Homestead. Now, to be alien, everyone must work together or be taken. Clue. If you spell wrong, I'm going to leave it spelled wrong because you can, because the A is smart and it picks it up. So this is just for the ideation. So you can not spell well and you can just go for it. You can also dictate. If you have a microphone, you can just talk, which also helps a lot. If you're just on your phone, you want to just like talk your story out. Same deal. Native American tribes and peoples, cowboys, the law, and others. Let's see what it thinks about here. Now we're getting something powerful. Remember, this is just the world foundation, so it's going to be very broad. Later, you can jump into character deep dive. You can jump into all other things. Right now, it's just getting a foundation of what's going on in the world. Now we're getting something powerful. An invasion has forced enemies to become allies. People who were shooting at each other over the last month are now sharing ammunition against a common threat. That's a massive shift in how this world works. What does an ordinary day look like for these unlikely alliances? Show me what's actually like when a cowboy, a sheriff, and maybe a Comanche warrior are trying to work together. What do they argue about? What do they have to figure out? How do they even communicate when survival depends on cooperation? I think they have to realize what each other's strengths are. For example, the sheriff might be better. Seeing the bigger picture of what is going on. A general might see the picture of war and Native Americans know the land best and even self tactics. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna spell very wrong here. The bandits at what do you call them? Warfare and I don't know. I'm winging it here, guys. isn't just about firepower anymore, it's about reorganizing that the guy you used to hunt down might be the one who knows how to move unseen through canyon country. Everyone's expertise suddenly matters. Here's what I want to know. What does this world feel like day to day? Not the big battles, but the weight of it all. If I'm sitting around a campfire with a mixed group, former enemies now watching each other's backs, what's the dominant emotion hanging in the air? It is tension, desperation, grim, determination. I'd say it starts as tension and desperation, seeing your world fall apart, seeing technology destroy people you love, and not knowing how to stop it. Then it changes into hope. It changes into seeing that there is something special in each one of them, and that humanity is stronger, they thought, even against odds again. All right. So we've done 4 exchanges. This is when you can not just continue later, but you can actually submit the session. So once you hit 4 exchanges, if you're over, if you're done, if you feel like you've had enough and you want to move on to something else, this is where you can call it quit. That emotional arc from desperation to hope through discovering what humanity is capable of, that's the heart of your world. People finding out they're stronger together than they ever imagined, even when facing something beyond their understanding. Now here's what I'm curious about. What is the world really asking beneath all the action? If someone walked away from West's story, what question would stick with them? Is it about what we're capable of when everything familiar gets stripped away, or something about the cost of unity, or maybe what it truly means to reach the promised land when the whole frontier has changed? I'd like to say and agree with your last statement that there is a promised land in the end, and for a short time it might be, but the way humanity is in this story, there will always be something to separate the people. For a time, and for now, though, you will walk away thinking the strain in unity and what could be accomplished if we worked together. All right. I'm going to call it quits on this one so I can just show you guys what happens after your first session. See, it even asks you want to keep building, dig into more specifics, or do you want to keep going? Let's complete the session. So it's going to go ahead and load you up. Loading your world. This takes a little bit because it's taking everything you did and it's creating your wikis, your stubs, your characters. I didn't really mention many characters in here, so I'm going to skip that. All right, so it tells you completed a session. Look, so when your session's done, it's going to go ahead, the frontier under siege, when the Old West collides with alien invasion. So like I said, it's not writing, it's not making up stuff. What it's doing is just reorganizing and resetting up a document of what you just talked about and what it brought out of you, right? So this isn't your story anyway. So this isn't lore. This is literally just foundational work. So it's just organizing. So if you're like a writer, a solo dev, someone, this is just organizing everything to be able to pass to someone so they realize what's going on in your world. It does key facts, setting, alien nature, aggressive, non-peaceful. See, it took everything out of there. Emotional arc, desperation to hope, primary threat, alien invasion, central question, what humanity can accomplish through unity, pre-invasion conditions. So that's pretty powerful, right? It's already organizing what little we did. We didn't even do a deep dive. So you can always come back and expand. So you can jump back into that session and expand. You can add an image. And look, it does connections automatically. So it's automatically connected other wikis, bandits and sheriffs. That one didn't even do as much as it normally does because I didn't name characters. I didn't name locations. I could have said certain towns. So for the very first session after you create, this is going to pop up automatically. It's never going to do it again. It's not going to annoy you. One thing I wanted to build and what I want to make sure is that things aren't just annoying you and taking you out of your creative process. This will jump up once in the very beginning just to tell you that it's here and what it is. So Realmkeeper is trained on everything you've written, everything that you've created. And as you go deeper and deeper, it can recall anything you created. So it can go through your whole wiki. So you can ask it, what do I need to do next? What character do you think is weak? What character should I create? What do you think is missing in your world? Yes, please tell me. And it will always be down here in the corner. You can just click when you get stuck. Here's my recommendation. Start with West, your protagonist. So it's just telling you to do a deep dive. So see, it remembers everything you've talked about. And then it says, right now, they're just a character attempting to reach a destination. So it's telling you to do a deep dive. So I'm just going to close it. You can always come back to your Realm Keeper. You can build a location. It's suggesting you build a location. You can just click here. So look, these are all your entries. So it's done. This is complete. This one is already, when it's up here, it's in your wiki and it's approved. Stub entries though, so generals, military leaders, bandits, sheriffs, West, the main character, Native American tribes and peoples. So if you don't want to expand, but you want these in your official wiki, you can just click enter. You can delete them, right? Because if you don't just want general military leaders, maybe you want a specific general that you're going to name later. So you can just delete it, or you can expand it, and then you can specifically name it. Bandits, maybe you want actual named bandit groups, not just bandits, right? So you can delete that. Sheriff, same thing, right? Because that was a very simple and very generalized session we did just to get the foundation. West though, so I can just click expand directly from here, or I can go ahead and go up here and you guys can click. Look, I'm going to show you world foundation, character deep dive, creature deep dive, belief system deep dive, location, faction groups, magic, technology, history and timeline, artifact deep dive, and work together. This is kind of collaborative mode, brainstorming ideas. You can ask it, what do you think about this? Once you've built like significant, I would suggest once you build a lot more significant, not like crazy, like you don't need a massive world, but let's say 2-3 characters, some location, more information, right? Like you've built the basics of a world, and that's as deep as you really want to go. Let's say you're not building the Lord of the Rings, but you just want to create enough to be able to start writing your book or developing your game. Then you can do a story architecture session, which is going to help you figure out your story architecture. So like a 3-act structure, hero's journey, whatever fits your story, it's going to help bring it out of you. It's a little longer one. It's going to talk to you about what do you think is going to happen in the middle, what do you think is going to happen in climate. It's going to take you through the whole process, and then it's going to develop that story architecture document for you, which you can then export, share with your game dev or whoever you're building with, or just friends. You can write together. It can help you kind of think through quests. Like if you're building a game, you can do quests. You can do NPC dialogue. You can do write your first chapter where you kind of go back and forth of what you want to write, and then it can help make suggestions, what it thinks about it, follow up and expand the entry. So we're going to add more as you guys jump in here. You want something else, tell me, and we'll add it, and we'll make it specifically for that reason too. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop on here. I'll do another one on character deep dive. I'm going to do that one next, and then we'll see where we're at. All right, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.